seeing skeletons and things that I basically, I didn't find it particularly attractive. It didn't seem like it would be much fun to go do it. Anyway, I just said to Joel, look, I can figure out how to finish this in 2 days. So that whole sequence of Arnold and the Predator circling around each other on the giant tree and all that stuff was what I made. I wrote it down on one night and gave it to Joel the next morning and said, look, I can finish the movie this way. And it involved him mimicking. The whole business of him setting off a self-destruct. I've said this, it came from a dream I had when I was in grad school. I thought I was a young physicist among the, Oppenheimer and those guys. The first time they had the first atomic bomb and they put it out on the tower and they pushed the button and it didn't go off. So they had to bring it back in and they had to disassemble it. And all these guys, all these old physicists and famous science people, and they're all standing around quietly telling jokes while 3 of them are getting their hands deeper and deeper in this first atomic bomb, taking it apart. And everybody was absolutely terrified. But that was why they were telling jokes. Anyway, Oppenheimer's in the middle of a joke about some golf or something stupid, and one of the guys who's got his hand deep down in the machine goes, uh-oh. And no one says another word. They go, most of them, go toward the windows quietly and simply look outward. And I'm looking, these guys are all older than me, far more experienced than me. And I suddenly break for the door. And just as I get to the door, Oppenheimer yells at me, John! And I turn and look at him and he says, you run real fast now. And the rest of the, and I dreamt this shot for shot for shot for shot, okay? And I'm just running and I'm running the rest of the dream, It's funny, I just realized I spend many nights where I'm running like that. I'm still running. And at the end of, and I saw the whole movie. Anyway, at the end of it, I leap over some concrete thing and the world goes white. And the screen goes white. Okay, and then the screen gradually fades down and it's in a room in a middle-class house, and on the wall is a piece of a newspaper cutout, and a camera dollies into it. And it's my obituary. And it talks about that I had 6 children and 28 grandchildren, and was blah, 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 blah. And years before, it says, was the sole survivor of the famous Trinity explosion. And then, the film fades out. Anyway, I took that, and I made that the end of Predator. Because we couldn't shoot all the stuff that was still in the script. Anyway, and Joel was happy and solved the whole problem. I shot Arnold out in the 2 days. And then we put it all together.
I mean, wow, let's give him another round of applause for that. Thank you for sharing that golden dream with us. Do we have time for one more question? One more question, right. Who is going to ask this question? I think we'll bring it to the front second row here on the
Well, who?
over there.
Speak.
Who? Speak now.
Hi John, I just want to say thanks a lot for all your iconic movies. They were a big influence in getting me into the film industry. And I work as a DP now, and I was just wondering if you could talk about your relationships with your DPs over the years and like good and bad experiences that you had with them.
Oh, I had great experiences with them. Well, a few bad ones, but there was one poor kid that I hired at the beginning of doing Thomas Crown, and he lit his first set, and I just looked at it and said, no. And I realized that he got mad, and he should have, but he quit. And we got an old guy that came in, it was great. But he was doing, what, you know, people are often into styles and fads, and he was really into that bleach bypass nonsense, where, you know, where they make a movie look, put loads of black in it and stuff, and it was blue black. And he was trying to do that, and I just said, no. A lot of I learned so much from Don McAlpine, who did this, and I did, I don't know, one or two more other movies with him. He was like the, you know, the old sergeant who teaches the young lieutenant what the fuck to do. He was great. He used to tell me to go and sit in the chair. I would never sit in the chair. I was always working with the crew one way or another. And he says, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm done. And he said, look, somebody has to sit in the chair. Okay, and if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, so you better get the rest of it. Anyway, he was great that way. And Jan de Bont had been working with Paul Verhoeven, and they had developed an active camera style in a film called, I can't remember the name of the damn movie. Fuck, I can't remember. They developed an active camera style that I just loved, and I, you know, sought him out and found out who shot it, and that's how I met Jan de Bont. And it's funny. Again, it's one of these things where the families are sort of different, or sort of the same. He and I both, as I said, came from pretty tough families. Families that expected a lot of us, okay? And were not polite at times. So Yanni and I would often argue about exactly what we were supposed to do. I remember the first one we were doing a picture through a mirror of a teddy bear in the back of the car or something. It was the issue, do you use a longer lens and move forward? Do you move the camera back, keep the lens the same? And there was all this mechanical arguing between us about how exactly it was set up the shot. And so we would argue about it, and it became this thing with the crew. Is that the two of us would start at it, and the word got spread through the set. They're at it again, they're at it again. We were actually having a fine time, we're perfectly happy. We used to drive to work together every day, same as car. And there was this one time when we were shooting on Die Hard, and we were shooting on bloody Christmas Eve in a really cold parking garage. On Christmas Eve, I don't know why we had to shoot, but we had to. And it was 3 a.m. or something. From midnight on, people had been disappearing and coming back with coffee cups that didn't have coffee in them. And even the first AD, he went off and came back with one of those coffee cups. And at 3 a.m, I looked around, And who was paying attention to this show that we had to get finished? Just me and the goddamn Dutchman. And that was the bond that we had of sort of like, you know, we're the two most intense men on the set, so we loved each other. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you all for being with us. I'm just going to call on some of the team from the festival to say a few words, if you like, Julian.
I'll just be very brief and just thank you, Ashanti, and thank you, John, and thank all of you for being here this morning for a fantastic screening for the 35th anniversary of Predator. So please, a big round of applause for John.
Thank you, everyone.
If you wouldn't mind staying in your seats just for a moment. Thank you very much. My colleague Ron Fogelman is going to take over.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Ashanti. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and it's me again. Just to say that it is the last day of the festival. We have a few more events to go, and if you are interested in attending them, I'll just take you through. But there are some free tickets downstairs if you want to sign up to them. So at 1:45, you can put up with me trying to look at the whole world of writing in what we've called Write Club, and examining the process of how you actually get the ideas out of your head and onto the page. Then we have a really amazing panel event at 3:15, which is a presentation of Marv's new film for next year, School Fight, with a presentation from the director, Damien Walters, and cast. At 5 o'clock, we've got an amazing panel event from the Proofing, which has sponsored that very kindly, which is about making special effects, previs, visualizations for the movie Jurassic World Dominion, with some involvement from the director Colin Trevorrow, who's created some new material for us. And then at 6:45, we have the screening of Con Air and a Q&A with the director, Simon West. So if you are interested in that, you might get lucky downstairs.